So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever your time zone is. Welcome to today's class. Please go ahead to drop a message on the Discord server so that others know that the class have started. If you're yet to follow us on YouTube, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for those watching on Twitch and LinkedIn, you are welcome as well. So today we have Samuel on the call. Samuel will be our instructor for today, and he'll be talking about that Figma to Framer. So and also I think Samuel told last week. Samuel is also a product design consultant as well. So Samuel, the floor is all yours. Thank you for coming on today's session.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? If you can hear me and you joining
Yeah.
from YouTube, joining from Twitch rather, please indicate in the comments and let's get started. Thank you very much, Amaka.
You're welcome.
Oh yes, you can hear me. All right. All right. So yeah, we're just going to get started. In the last class, I explained some basic mental model for creating websites with Framer. And for the most part, what I tried to explain was the similarity between Framer and Figma, how the different aspects and features work. But in today's class, we're going to be trying to move a design. This is what the design looks like. We're going to try to replicate this design in Framer without actually putting the piece together in Framer. Basically, just there's a plugin that Framer has that allows you to copy your design from Figma to Framer
Hi,
directly.
Samuel.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We
Can you hear me?
can't see your screen.
All right. Shit, that's true. I thought this was
Okay.
shared already. Thank you for drawing my attention.
All right.
All right. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Okay. Yes, we
All
can.
right. All right. All right. So yeah, in last class we talked about working with the different aspect of Framer and things like frames. Then we also talk about stack rather. So we also talked about stack and frames and many other things, right? But today we're going to be trying to replicate a design from Figma. This is what the design looks like. We're going to be replicating this on Framer directly without writing a single, of course, without writing a single line of code and without actually putting the piece together one after the other. So usually another way to do this is to come into Framer and you start developing the different pieces. You start picking up, for example, you start with navigation, you pick maybe a frame or you can use a stack and you put it together here and start bringing it together. We could do that, but that's going to take more time. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to copy and paste, right? So we're going to copy the whole design here. I'm going to put it in here. And at the end of the day, we should have something that looks like this. So this is you can go over and search for this URL, voxnova.framer.website, and you would see this design there. So yeah, it has a few perks. It has a drop down. Then, of course, we also have a hover effect here on this button. Then click on this to search, and basically that's it. And it's very responsive. Looks good across all screen sizes. Of course, here is for input field for newsletter. You can easily come in here, type your email address, and subscribe to that email to that newsletter. So yeah, this is what we're going to be creating, and we're going to do it really fast. So this particular one has a few more specs, but we're not going to be able to create this on the call because of time. So for example, this particular dashboard is interactive, so you can see the input field here works. You can type stuff in here. You can also click and unclick. Then this also works, right? So you can open and close. I think this also works, right? But this was the creation of this took a little bit more time, so it's not something we can do right now on the call. But yeah, just wanted to draw your attention to that. So now let's get started. So yeah, like I showed you earlier, this is design. This is drop down. But for the most part, we'll be focusing on the design. and we're going to make sure it looks good across all screen sizes. So for this particular design website you just saw, this is what the file looks like. Then we have the desktop, we have the tablet, we also have the phone. Now for the phone, I'm going to show you the preview. So for the phone, when you click on the menu, we have this in the menu section. Then of course, like I told you earlier, everything is responsive and looks good across all screen sizes. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So we're going to be using this particular file. And yeah, so if you go into Figma, you can search for Figma to HTML with Framer, or just search for Framer. So as you can see, I just wrote FR and the option came up. So just type Framer, you would find the plugin. But this is what the plugin looks like. You will see the Framer icon attached to it. So you click on it. Once you click on it, first, before you click on it, you make sure you're selecting what you want to copy. So for example, I'm going to select the top navigation. Then I'm also going to go back there, click on plugin, and allow it to do its magic. You can see it's copying below. You can see the option there is copying. So now it has copied. Just click on copy, come in here, paste, go back again, click on the next one, which is the hero section. Click on Figma to HTML plugin. Then it's going to copy again as well. Going to copy, and this is taking a bit more time because there are a bit more layers there. So yeah, it's done. I'm going to paste, and you can see it's also uploading it to Figma, to Framer rather. Now that's done. Let's go to next section. Pick this up, same thing, copy, paste. Next one, go to this features. If you notice, I'm not selecting the entire design. That is because I'll show you why, but let's finish up with this. Let's finish up with this first. Then come in here, paste, go back, continue. Now, if you notice, this is the auto layout is turned on. So if you select the entire, you can see I'm selecting the desktop. You can see that auto layout is turned off. If auto layout is not, sorry, layout is turned on. If it is turned off, this design will behave slightly differently. Now, if it is turned off, it will be a frame. Basically, the entire canvas will be a frame. But if it is turned on, it would behave like an auto layout, or basically a stack rather. So take note of that, because you would want to preferably use this and fit whatever content you have within a stack, because it allows you to easily move your sections over time. I will show you in a bit, easily with just a move of just pressing the arrow key on your keyboard. But if you're using a frame allows you for more flexibility. For example, if you are trying to create something that with an unusual layout, maybe the text is flowing from the end coming into the screen, you have images coming from the extreme side, and this happens throughout the entire website. You can use the entire, you can use the canvas when the auto layout is turned on, because if you do that, everything will just arrange on beside each other. It won't stack above it and below each other. So that's something to take note of. So let's continue. So let's go back here. Let's paste this one in. So paste in. All right, so let's come in here and set this to fit content. And yeah, we have this. I'm going to delete this since it's already there. Then, all right. So you go back, select this, go do it again. Okay, it's copying, it's copied, then paste, paste here. Right. Okay, it's done. Go to the next one. For this one, I'll just select both sections together and select this. Then copy it and paste it in here. All right. Then now we are left with the newsletter and the footer. So I'm going to select both of them at the same time. Then select the plugin, and boom, yeah, it is done. So now we can come in here, paste it at the top, from the top rather, same way I've done others. Hit upload, and here we go. Now if you notice the design that we've uploaded into Framer, it looks weird. You can see a lot of things are not showing. Some stuff are not appearing the way they should. I mean, you can see this, the text is off screen. Same thing with this side, even the logos here. This looks good, but you can also see that navigation here is looking weird. So we have to fix that. If you check the design, that's not what it looks like. You can see the design. Let me zoom out a bit. Give me a sec. All right, I'll probably just leave it like that. So now, if you notice here, there is a little bit of space. So if I select this, you can see there's a padding here of 112. Also a padding here, 112. Then the same padding appears across the entire design, right? The same padding. You can see 112. So we have to make sure that this is also replicated in Framer as well. So if you see, take a look at this. This is also 112. All right, so now that's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be making sure that the margin instead, is consistent across the entire web page. So first we're going to select. Now you have to, for the best way to work with this is to take note of the panel. So the layers panel on the left hand side. So we have navigation, we have hero sections all the way down to footer. We're going to start with the navigation here. That's the nav bar, which is the first one at the top. So when we select it, we go to width, then switch from fit to fill. Then you can see automatically everything changes. Then we open it up, select the top. Then you can see this is fixed. We have to change it from fixed, because if it is fixed, it means that the design would only appear when the screen size is 1440. And we don't want that. We want it to appear no matter the screen size. So we're going to change this from 1440 to fill. So in that way, it will look good no matter the screen size of the user opening it. So do the same thing for this. And if you notice, Framer also captured the 112 from Figma, so which helps us a lot. So we don't have to do that manually again. So if you come here to, we have to do the same thing here. So you select this fill, everything comes together, then come to this place, select fill, and the same thing happens. Let's go to the next one. In fact, you can select everything all the way to the footer, then fill, and boom. Yes, yes. So you've noticed this one is not quite working. So we have to go back here and examine why is this one not fitting well. So we can, all right, so this is it. Oh yes, okay, yes. Yeah, this is problem. So now if you notice, this entire feature section has two parts. It has this part, the one up. It also has this part, the one down. So the one up, which is the container up, fits well. I mean, it still needs a little bit of adjustment, but the one down is not fitting at all. So you can come, when you select it, you see that, okay, so it is fixed. So we change it to fill. And I mean, it still needs a little bit of work, right? So, but yeah, that's it. Okay, now let's go through and check the rest. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. We are still going to make a lot of changes then. If we check the other screen sizes, you can see that it needs a lot of work. So we're going to be doing that bit of work in the remaining part of this class. And we're going to start with the navigation. So we're going to make sure that navigation looks good from the mobile to the desktop to the tablet, every single screen, that it looks good. So yeah, let's get started. So now for this, we're going to, this already looks good, right? So we're going to leave this the way it is. The only thing we're going to change is that if you check the actual website that we created, that we're going to be creating, if you click on the search, this appears. So for us to do that, you go to the insert panel, then you search for search. You search for search, then drag it in, paste it here, and delete this one here, and take it out. If you have any questions, please drop your question in the comments and I will be attending to your questions as the class proceeds. All right. So, all right. So yeah. So we've changed that in. So while we continue to make these small changes, we can always inspect and see the work we've done from the preview. So for example, if we click on this now, you can see that it works. Okay, so we're going to close it back and continue. So let's come here. And so for this one, we have to adjust the margin, basically the space here and here. For this place, it was 112, but we can't make it 112 here because it's a smaller screen size. So we don't have that much real estate to do that. So we're going to shift it from 112 to 40. So this will be 40, this will be 40. And one more thing, we're going to collapse the navigation. So for what I mean by collapse is that we're going to merge pricing into company, or either way. So you could do this, or alternatively, you take out the navigation completely. But I'm preferably going to just take out the pricing, right? Take out the pricing. Then I'm going to shift this closer, just to best right here. Okay. Then one more thing, we're going to adjust the space here from 24 to 16. Okay. Then I'm going to draw it in again. And yes, one more thing, we're also going to reduce this from 16, just going to drop it down a notch to 14. Then also going to drop this to 20, drop this to 20. Okay, so I mean, this looks way better than this is 20. And yeah, that's about it. And just adjust this as well, bring it down to 18. And same thing here. Going to use 14 instead. Okay. And yeah, we have ourselves an optimized. So same thing here, we just bring this down to 40, this down to 40 as well. And if you notice the search button is a bit too big, so we're going to just bring it down a bit. So you come here, change this from width, from the way it is, just click on this to lock it in. Then you can reduce this to like 24. And let's bring this a bit closer. So we can also change this for this to be functional. So if you check the website again, you click on this, it shows you the different languages. Now, this is not exactly functional. It shows, it appears there, but it's not going to change to French or Spanish. You could make that happen, but you would require a little bit of code to implement that. So, but that's not what we're doing here. We're just going to stick to the interface. So now that is for the tablet mode. So we're going to go to the Dex, to the mobile version. So for the mobile version, the same thing. We would change it. Unlike this place that we used 40, for this place we're going to be using 16. So this is a smaller screen, so we're going to be using 16. Let's open this up gently, then take off the navigation completely. Then one more thing, I'm going to drag this in, so fill, good. So fill, then we're going to take out the buttons as well. You can take out the buttons. Then for the top part, the same thing, 16, 16 here, 16 there. And also going to take out the search. Then we're going to allow the remaining part of, okay, so this will be set to fit content. So if you're a designer already, this would naturally become more intuitive to you because you'll be able to figure out how you want it to look like and make those necessary adjustments. So the Framer is a bit more design friendly than other code to design to code platforms, design to website platforms, right? So now next thing is going to add a hamburger menu. So we're just going to search for menu here, drag this in, paste it, and voila, we have it there. So now next thing is for us to make this happen. So let me show you. If we inspect this, let's inspect this. mobile, close this, and if you click on this, you see we have this, right? We have this. So we want to recreate this, right? And I'm going to show you how to do that really, really quick. So now you're going to come in here and drag a frame, and you're going to draw it down. You take note of the size and the width of the mobile view, which is 390. So copy it, paste it here, then you go grab the navigation. So let's grab the navigation from here. Right, copy and paste. Voila. You can just change it to fit, then change it from horizontal to vertical, then align to the left, and drag it in. Then we'll select the individual text. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to increase the font size to, let's say, 20. 20 should be good. So yeah, the next thing we're going to copy this. We're going to copy the whole of this navigation here. Right, just going to copy this and paste it in here. I'm going to make sure it's centered and it's at top. Then I'm just going to drag it all over the place. So this would be from here. And then I'm going to drag this all the way down to this place. All right, so now we've done that, I'm going to change this from the hamburger to the X. Right, change from hamburger to the X. Then next thing is the button. So you're going to grab this button here, the big one. I'm going to copy it, same thing, copy and paste. All right, so this is a bit, it shouldn't be that way. So you fix that, just click on this again, and change this from absolute to, all right, so just grab this in, then bring it to the bottom, then make this vertical. Now you've done this, next thing to do is to change this to fix so that you can drag it all around the place, then bring this all the way over here, then same thing with this one. So you can then select the buttons, make them fill. Remember, in this place, you can see that it is spread across. So you're going to do that. You're going to select, you're going to delete this now, it's unnecessary layer. Okay, I'm going to fill, remove. Right, so fill now. This is not it. All right, remove this. Then yeah, this should be it. All right, good. So now, so currently this is a frame. You can see that layout is not active, so we're going to activate it. So when we do that, notice everything comes together, and I mean this is good. So what we need to do is to move this to the top. So you're just going to use space in between, and everything goes in there. Then we're going to set this the padding to 24 or probably 32. Then we're going to go in here. Then we'll make sure that padding for the top does not work. And also from on it off for, think about this should look good. Yeah, yeah. We should just leave it this way. Then while we proceed, I'm going to come in to check if there are any questions. So oh yeah, to the practice file. Of course, you would get a link to the practice file. That's not a problem at all. So let's see. So yes, one more thing. I'm going to move this to the side. Then allow this to fill. Just give this a little bit of padding here. Same thing. So let's say 32 here. So I'm going to zoom in. So if you see for this padding, we have top. T stands for top. R stands for right. B stands for bottom. Then L stands for left. So when you're adding padding, take note of that because determines how the padding will behave. So same thing, I'm going to select this and give it a padding of 32 here. Make it feel so that it can stretch from side to side. We're also going to do the same here, right? So put it in the center. and voila, it looks a lot better now. So next thing, I'm thinking of increasing the font size because it's looking a bit too small, right? Just let's try 32 and see what it looks like. That is a bit too big, so let's keep it at 24. And yeah, this is good. So now next thing is to I would like to spread this across, spread it. Okay, so just select this and all right. So because of the so this is behaving this way because they are layered. You can see that we have the text plus icon and all this other layering. I know this layering were copied. Framer copied everything from Figma, right? So it was all copied from Figma, and it is all coming from a particular design system that I use. So that's why the layering is like this. But we don't need all this layering. So if you use a design system, for example, to create this, or you're using a component that has a lot of layering that for icons and different styles, you can you would have to take your time to remove them either before or after you've copied it into Framer. So it's not very difficult. Just right click and find the options there. So this will be to the left and let's see, and distribute space between, distribute space between, then let's see, delete this, then fill, then from the left, and space between. So this is it. You're going to increase the size of this to, let's say, 16 in this frame to stack, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to change this to stack, and you're going to delete a lot of this too as well. So let's see, delete, delete, and also delete. Right, so now we're left with this. So same thing, fill, start from the starting point, then to take this out, then space between, increase this to 16 as well for consistency's sake, and voila, this looks a lot more I like right now. So to finalize everything, this is not exactly perfect. Still a few more changes we can make. For example, we can adjust this to 20, bring it together. Then we can also drag this in to compensate for the too much space. So just bring this in a bit. And I mean, it looks a lot better now. Then if you notice the navigation, the chevron is not looking the same. So you can just copy this in here, paste it, and delete the old one. So you can have the same navigation. So now, when you select the menu here, you come to this place, you see overlays, click on top, then this appears. Click on this, then Control X to cut. Then if you notice this particular overlay that has been created, this is the this is the layer here. So this particular layer that has the star icon. So you make sure you are selecting it, then paste. Once you paste, it appears inside. So you can see it is directly inside. So your menu is directly inside. So now next thing is to close it. So when you click on close, you click on close overlay, and that's about it. So now we're going to make a little bit more changes here. So for example, when someone clicks the menu, do we want this thing? Do we want the background to be dark, or do we want it to be transparent? So I'm going to set it to transparent. Let's set it transparent. Then one more thing, I'm going to bring this down just a bit. Just bring it down to start at the same point where the navigation below starts. So just somewhere around here. Alternatively, we can do it this way. Drag this to the top, then use padding to bring it down. So we can set this to transparent so that we see what we're doing from the back. All right, so close this, and let's add a little bit more padding. So bring it to 48. Let's bring it to 6, then 6 to 4. For Sims, just try to lose by 67 or 70, 72. All right, so this is just right there, 70. Okay, so going to return back the opacity, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about now. So now that it's like this, we can choose to close this off. When we go to the menu, this is one way to do it, right? If you notice, it's only the menu that is optimized. So see, it opens and you can close it as well. Open, close, open, close. So now you do, instead of doing it this way, where we now have extra space here, you can just leave it to take this off completely and take off everything here, but you will need the X button. So you can also leave the X button. You can take the entire thing up to the top. So what I mean is you select this and you select this. So you can take out the padding completely and allow it to stay at the top. And when you open it, it will still look good, right? Still look good. So click on this, then that appears like this, and close it back. So yeah, so that's about it for the navigation. We can continue going over this all the way down to the footer, but it's going to take a little bit more time. So what we're going to do just to fix the hero section, and let's see about that. So click on fill, and click on fill here, and then select everything and bring it close and bring it together here like this. Then same thing here, drag this in and take this in to fill, and bring this in and bring this in like this. So now next thing is to select this one as well and drag it to the center. So this is, if you notice, this is wrapped within a frame, not a layout, right? So this is a frame, so it allows for layering. So now if you notice, a very big circle, a very big circle. Okay, let me drag it out so that you can see. Go to Control X, Control V. So this is a big circle, and this circle is right here. Let me return it back. If you check the design, same thing. You can see the big circle, and so yeah. So that circle will not stay here if this was an auto layout. So if I change this to, if this was a layout rather, if I change this to layout, you can see the entire design is messed up. So it has to be in a frame. So now, because it's a frame, the the boundaries are not fixed. So you have to manually make sure it looks good. So by dragging it, okay. So select the image as well, set it to fill, so it fills between within the container. This container is wrapping the content of the hero section. And it's wrapping the content so that the content can stay in the center. For then at the behind it, we now have the circle that basically covers the entire screen. So yeah, if you notice, for this place we'll be doing the same thing. So select this, then drag it in center, drag it in a bit more, drag it in a bit more here, and if you notice this is looking strange, so just change this to fixed, then drag this this way, then raise this up and bring it down now. Okay, so now we need to fix this looks really bad, so just change this to fill, and voila. You can also reduce the font size. Let's take this to 56, and we can also, yeah, I think let's return it back to system and see again. Change this to field fixed content. So Yeah, I mean, this doesn't look good because we have this particularly store, the word store in a new line, but we can reduce the font size to a point where it stays on the same line. So that should be somewhere around 60. So yeah, I mean, at some point, depending on the screen size opening it, it would still appear with the store at the bottom, but let's just make sure it looks good with what we're working on first, right? So just make sure it looks good. Okay, so now this is it for this particular place. Then yeah, make sure this is resting at the bottom. It doesn't make sense for this to be hanging. Now, alternatively, you can raise the hero section together, raise it up, then bring this down. Bring this down to rest on the bottom. Allow this to rest on the bottom. So make this fit content. Yeah, so it rests on the bottom now. Then you can adjust the padding here so that's all right. So I think this looks a bit more better. Okay, so now for this place, we need to reduce the font size here to 14. 14 works, and take this down to 40. Then make sure it is fit content. Then the same thing we did on other places, same thing we're going to do here, right? So you just put this together and bring everything together. So now drag this into, make sure it's exactly where the menu is. Then this too is also exactly where the logo is. I'm going to drag this in. Then I'll take out next is to select the content. Then make sure it fills, and you can see it looks good almost immediately. So we can choose to reduce this a little bit further, or we can leave it the way it is, right? So we can also leave it the way it is. And now this part is looking squeezed, so you can change this to fixed and make specific adjustment. Now, alternatively, instead of doing this, you could go back to the, now this won't work again, but it will still work for the in-between screen sizes. So you set this to fixed. I will show you how it works, but let's just change everything to fixed now. So now everything is in fixed, so just drag this up and put it in the center. And then we adjust the entire frame, just raise it up a bit. All right, then container as well, allow it to rest at the bottom, then adjust the padding. And all right, so this looks good, right? This looks, let me just reduce this to, let's see, 14, 14, not 4, 14 or 16. Either one looks good. And yeah, we have this. Remember, this is supposed to rest on the bottom, so you have to make sure that always happens. Then we increase the space in between. All right, so this is what we get. We can also reduce the circle, this big circle spanning the entire. All right, so we can also make it sure it stays in the center and it looks good. So yeah, that's how to create it. Now the same thing applies to every single place. So you just need to adjust the padding. Yeah. Now concerning the image, let me show you now. So because we've restricted the sizing. When we expand, everything goes in gradually compared to when if you take it off, it behaves slightly differently and it won't exactly look good for certain screen sizes. So yeah, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, please, what components are you deleting? Oh, some components were not necessary for certain screen sizes. For example, for the navigation, we can't be having, we can't show the entire thing here in the mobile view, so we have to take it off. Now, when it deletes, Framer doesn't necessarily delete it. It just makes it, just hides the content. So for example, for this place, if you see, you check here, you can still find the links to the different. So if I turn it on, so if turn visibility on, you can see they are still there, but they are turned off, so they don't appear at all. And you can, yeah. Any other question? Any other question? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the link to this particular one. I'm going to make it available to you so that you can use and inspect this one that has already been completed. And yeah, so if you have any questions, please ask. Oh, one more thing. So we are not able to run through the design for the different screen size, but let's make sure the desktop looks good. Then let's publish it. So just fix this. If you have any questions, please ask. So just fix a little bit of all the different inconsistencies, right? So select the text here, select text here, select text here. Then change it from fixed to fill. Then you can also spread this out a bit more and change this to input. So drag input from here, paste it in between right here. Then delete this one and stretch this one out. Change the color. Change the color to change the color to all right. So then we can also make little adjustment to this. So we can come into the button and adjust the size of the button. So we can change this to, let's say, 12, 12 to and 24. Then also make this 24. So if you notice it becomes longer. And what else? We can also make the button to be inside the input field. So something like this. So you notice the button is now inside the input field, or we can just leave it outside by turning it off. So yeah, or you can delete the button altogether. So we just left with this. Now you can also show it. So there are a few bunch of settings you can play around with here. So you just make sure you go through them and use them as you wish. Will the Figma file be available? Oh, we can also make that available. We can make that available as well. That won't be a problem. Just make sure that you're on the Discord server, and I will drop a post within the next 30 minutes. So do you guys have any questions? Do you have any questions? Yeah. So make sure you practice. It's very simple. If you are used Figma before, it's just copy and paste. The only other thing apart from copy and paste is just is just some minor changes that you would have to make. I'm going to refresh this page. So it's just some minor changes you would have to make, right? So like the adjustment of the padding. For the most part, you'll be using things like fill, right? So for example, fill will be something you would use a lot to make sure that it looks good. So for example, you see this text, they are all fixed. If you check this width here, the width is fixed. That's why it's behaving the way it's behaving. If you set it to fill, the width will be determined by the content. Basically, where is this text placed? If we zoom out, we'll see that this text is placed within this particular layout. So now this particular text will now fit itself within the constraint of this particular layout. It won't expand, it won't go beyond it because you've set it to fill. So it's going to fill up only the space available to it. And when it's done, it will stop there. So just set this again to fill, and let's just do the same for every other thing here. select this, select this, select this, and select this, and set to fill. Okay, so now if we inspect again, you would see a difference now. So now when I stretch this, you notice that it is responsive, right? It is moving based on the width of the screen. So yeah, that's what I mean. And now, last, and let's publish this. This is an incomplete work, but I'm still going to publish it so that you guys can see a bit more settings here. Would cover other aspects of Framer in other classes, but for now, just you can click on this link, or you can change the link from this long hellish link to something more simple. So you can use like a simple name. Let's use the name of the brand. So let's say Fox Nova CMS. Nova CMS. So it's going to have this framer.website unless you pay for the premium plan. So if you pay for the premium plan, you'll be able to get a custom domain name. Otherwise, it's going to have framer.website. If you notice, I used CMS because there's another website, which is this one here, that is already using VoxNova. So I can't use VoxNova again. It has to be VoxNova with something else. So now if we click on this link, what happens? It works. So this is the website, and every other thing here appears good. So if you notice anything that doesn't look good, it's not the desktop screen. So if we move to the mobile view now, check the mobile view, if we check, you can see that these places are still messed up because we've not adjusted them. So yeah, but if you check the desktop, it looks absolutely good because we've fixed those little changes to make sure that it appears. Yeah, also you can see this. You can also type your email here, right? Type your email here, and you can press submit, right? And you get that fixed. So now for the settings, there are a bunch of settings here you can check, from the plans to the analytics to domain names to general. You can make sure that whenever someone visits your website, if you notice this particular sample, the icon here is the logo of the brand. So you can also change that from here. There's a setting for that. You can see it's called favicon. So you can come here, change it from the Figma logo, Framer logo, to any logo that you want. Then there's a few more settings you can make. You can also lock the website. That's also something that's available, but we're not focused on that in this class, so I'll leave that for subsequent class. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions at all? If we don't have any questions, the session will come to an end now. Amakaida.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
All right. So I'm here. Thank you so much for this class. So guys, if you have more questions, you can go ahead and drop them. If you come across your questions later, you can still drop them on the Discord server as well and tag Samuel. Samuel will pick it up from there. Also, your attendance form is in the chat, so please do well to fill that. So thank you so much, Samuel. Bye, everyone. See you for your other class by 8 p.m. That's West African time. Bye, guys.